Monica, president of the Guru Intelligence Network, here back on another Monday to talk about the 5Ms, Warren Buffett's 5M stock investing strategy. So today we're starting our topic on management, which is the fourth M in the strategy. And so we're going to be discussing what makes a manager a good one and why that is important today. So if you are enjoying these videos, please like, share, and subscribe them, and keep watching to keep learning, and hopefully you'll be making millions in no time in your stocks. So why is management important? Well, I don't know about you, but I've worked for companies that have had good management and other companies that have had bad management. And as an employee, you could actually see the difference between the two very easily. But if you're somebody who's on the outside looking in, you're maybe not working in the company, you may not be able to see it very well. And it is a really important factor. I don't know about you, but the companies that had bad management, they didn't seem to last very long. They did end up getting into some financial trouble. And unfortunately, myself and everyone else ended up getting laid off because of poor management decisions. So as a shareholder, you don't want that your company to go out of business, especially not on your watch, because all of your money will evaporate. And the funny thing is, we've all heard stories of management doing cover-ups and some shady things, and all these people, shareholders, have lost their money. You don't want to be one of those people. And that is why it's really important to look at management. And a good manager will actually take your company to higher levels and make you so much money that you're just going to want to send them lots of gifts because you'll be so grateful for what they've done to your portfolio. So Warren Buffett says it best. He says the reaction of weak management to weak operations is often weak accounting. And this is really, really key to investing in stocks. So if you are just learning to invest in stocks, you may start learning various numbers you should be looking for and whether they're good or not. I'll tell you this, those numbers are important, yes. But it's even more important to see where those numbers come from, because many of those numbers can be actually faked by management by simply moving stuff around. And in the last several years, we've had many companies do this. And one of those things that cause numbers to look better than they actually are is share buybacks. And this is something that's been occurring a lot in many companies over the last several years. And it is really something that maybe many investors don't look at as important, but it really, really is. So what does Warren Buffett say about management? Well, he says when he's looking for a good manager, he's looking for people with integrity, intelligence, and energy. And he says if they don't have the first, which is integrity, the other two will kill you. And I'll tell you, that is so true. I have run into so many people who've got intelligence and energy, but the integrity piece just isn't there. And that seems to be where it falls apart. And unfortunately, integrity is one of those traits that's actually pretty rare in the human population. And if you find it, it is really like having a piece of gold. So when we're looking for our management team to be doing really well, we want them to show and demonstrate mostly that they've got integrity. So what are the things that we're looking for in our manager? So first of all, we want to focus on the CEO, because the CEO makes most of the decisions that will impact the company. And you can look at the rest of the management team as well. But if you don't want to spend a lot of time, the CEO is really the top manager that makes most of the decisions. So you really want to be focusing on the CEO. And if you don't know what CEO means, it's Chief Executive Officer. So what are the characteristics of a good CEO? Well, we're looking for a CEO that's really passionate about their company and what they're doing. They will have a huge, we call it a big audacious goal. And that is a goal that is seemingly impossible to achieve, but it's a really important one. It's the mission, it's the vision of the company. If your CEO is passionate about this, all the employees in the company will be striving to achieve this big audacious goal that they have. And it really does help to connect and unify the team of the company to have that mission and that goal, and to have a CEO that's really passionate and able to convey that to their employees and to inspire them to go after that is huge. It's really, really one of the big keys to success in managing a company. Now, they're also going to be shareholder minded. So they know who they work for. They know that the shareholders are the ones that they need to keep happy. In fact, they're usually, and they better be, a shareholder themselves. Now, they need to really have a stake in this company. We're looking for a CEO that's not just looking for a paycheck. We are looking for a CEO that has a stake, has the drive and the intention to make the company great. And being a shareholder gives you that extra motivation to do better. And another thing that's really important, which can sometimes be actually difficult to find, is honesty. So do you have a CEO that is honest about what's going on? Do you have a CEO that's telling you what challenges are occurring right now? I mean, let's face it, there's no company out there that survives without challenges. So if you're looking at a company and every single report that you look at, everything's wonderful, and they're not mentioning any challenges with anything, no competition challenges, no supply challenges or financial challenges of any kind, well, that's not realistic. So there might be some kind of cover up going on. And you also want a CEO to be honest and forthright about their own mistakes that they may have made. So if they did make a mistake, are they willing to come out and say, yeah, you know, I made this decision, I own it, and it was a mistake, and here is what I am doing to correct that. That is really, really important. We want a CEO that understands, you know, life happens, things are good, things are bad, but we really need to be honest about what's going on, or we just can't tackle those challenges that come along. And then we also want a CEO that is performance compensated. So yeah, the shares are part of that. But if you start looking into CEO compensation, you'll notice that many of them have bonuses, and that's usually because of performance indicators. So many CEOs will have certain metrics that they have to reach, and if they reach them, then they get paid for that. And that's a great thing, because that means they are working to move that company forward, and they are actually paid for their performance, and they're not just showing up for a paycheck. So how do we find all this information? Well, we just go out, and there's tons of information out there. The annual and quarterly reports are really good. Those have a lot of information, especially the financials. And that's when we're going to be digging deep into those numbers to see whether the CEO and management team is being honest about what they're doing. And we're going to also be listening to those earnings calls. So every quarter and an annual report, there's usually a meeting and of the shareholders, and they will go over all the annual or quarterly report, depending on what it is, and provide information on what's going on in the company and what challenges they are facing with at the moment. Many CEOs, really good ones, will have letters to the shareholders. Warren Buffett has probably some of the best letters to the shareholders I've ever seen. If you want to see a guy who demonstrates those three qualities, integrity, intelligence, and passion, you want to read these shareholders, because it's a really good example of a really good manager and someone who's honest and able to give information that the shareholders need to know what's going on in the company and what challenges are being faced. Also, of course, we're in the age of the internet, and there's tons of information on the internet there. YouTube's a really great place. Websites, you can go to the company website. There's tons of other places, news stations. There's books. A lot of times really big CEOs will have books written about them, and maybe even they've written some themselves, so you can pick up some books and learn more about them that way. Of course, really big CEOs will be interviewed and have articles written about them, and quite often they will be mentioned in trade journals as well. These are all things you want to be looking at if you own a company regularly, because it gives you all kinds of information, not just on the management, but also what's going on in the industry and how your company may be doing and faring amongst its competition during that time. So that concludes this section on the qualities of management. Next week, we'll be talking about some numbers, some growth rates that can indicate whether or not your manager is hiding things and whether they are doing a good job. So I hope you really enjoyed this Monday. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and come back next Monday for our next part in the management section. And hope you have a really good week. Bye.